Investigators in Taiwan are currently probing a massive leak of trade secrets from the world's most critical semiconductor manufacturer, TSMC. According to the ongoing investigation, a current TSMC employee, working with a former colleague now at the equipment supplier Tokyo Electron, allegedly transferred hundreds of highly sensitive photographs. These images detail the exact process integration steps required to manufacture advanced 2 nanometer chips. The alleged destination for these blueprints is a newly formed state-backed Japanese rival named Rapidus. Rapidus is the anchor of a multi-billion-dollar sovereign operation in Chitose, Hokkaido. It operates under heavy guard and a government mandate to rebuild Japan's semiconductor capabilities with extreme urgency. The blueprints targeted in this alleged leak represent the absolute bleeding edge of physics. 2 nanometer process technology is the foundational hardware required to power global AI infrastructure and next-generation military systems. This espionage investigation confirms that 2 nanometer chips are no longer treated as standard commercial electronics. They are the primary targets in a geopolitical war for technological supremacy. To understand the desperation driving the Rapidus project, we must look back to the 1980s. During that decade, Japanese companies dominated the global semiconductor market, controlling half the world's supply of memory chips. That control over silicon manufacturing fueled a massive interconnected empire of consumer electronics and hardware innovation. But in the 1990s, the global industry fractured. Companies across the world separated their chip designers from their manufacturers, utilizing dedicated foundries like TSMC to achieve massive economies of scale. Japanese firms rejected this shift, clinging to a vertically integrated model that quickly became too expensive to maintain. This chart tracks logic IC process technology. Looking at the Japan row, domestic capabilities flatlined at 40 nanometer around 2010. While Japan stalled, Taiwan and South Korea marched forward to 2 nanometer nodes. Japan was left with a massive industrial gap. That vulnerability became an acute crisis during the global chip shortages of 2020. Tokyo policymakers realized that a sudden geopolitical disruption in Taiwan would completely halt the Japanese economy. Japan recognized it had lost its strategic autonomy. In response, the government launched a state-funded mandate to resurrect domestic chip manufacturing at any cost. To secure its highly vulnerable supply chains, Japan deliberately engineered a complex dual-strategy approach. They started with a safe, calculated investment. The first pillar is the newly built TSMC Kumamoto project. This joint venture focuses entirely on mature 12 to 28 nanometer technology designed specifically to provide a reliable domestic supply for Japan's massive automotive and home appliance industries. The second pillar of the strategy is Rapidus. Backed by over $11 billion in total subsidies, it is an attempt to do the impossible. The engineering hurdle is staggering. Rapidus aims to build 2 nanometer gate-all-around transistors from scratch, with a hard deadline for mass production in 2027. They are attempting to skip 15 years of incremental research and development, the exact difficult learning curve that TSMC and Samsung already navigated. To execute this leap, Rapidus is entirely reliant on international lifelines. They are licensing the foundational 2 nanometer architecture from IBM and importing EUV lithography machines from ASML in the Netherlands, the only company capable of manufacturing them. Rapidus is not operating like a traditional tech startup. It is a highly fragile, globally tethered tightrope walk, built specifically to bypass decades of technological history in just 5 years. Curious tone, there is a glaring paradox at the center of the Rapidus megaproject. Despite the billions of taxpayer yen spent and the extreme security surrounding the facility, Japan currently possesses almost no domestic industry that actually uses 2 nanometer chips. Rapidus recently opened a marketing office in California because their primary targets are American tech giants. The chips will be manufactured in Hokkaido using Dutch equipment, but they are destined for US AI servers and data centers. This reveals the offensive geopolitical doctrine behind the project: strategic indispensability. By inserting itself into the middle of the advanced logic supply chain, Japan forces the American tech sector to rely heavily on Japanese manufacturing. This strategy connects directly to the espionage investigation in Taiwan. If Japan successfully stands up a viable alternative to TSMC, They break Taiwan's monopoly over advanced chip production, which explains exactly why TSMC's proprietary secrets are suddenly in the crosshairs. The stakes are incredibly high. If Rapidus fails to deliver on its 2027 timeline, Japan burns billions in public funds and remains permanently vulnerable to global supply chain shocks. If they achieve this leap, Japan secures a position as an irreplaceable global node, controlling the physical manufacturing of the world's most advanced processors. The Hokkaido facility functions as a multi-billion-dollar industrial wedge, a project designed to rewrite the map of global influence for the rest of the century. If you enjoyed this business story, subscribe to Business Layer. We break down the companies, industries, and ideas shaping our world.